Hello, everyone. We are here today on Talking Freely. I am Ray, and this is Rainey. Welcome. And today we're going to be talking about the case of Elizabeth Shaof and her disappearance, and ultimately the solving of her abduction. So, starting out, Elizabeth was a 14-year-old girl in Southern Carolina, and she lived in a rural town, small community, out in the woods, and she would walk home from school after being dropped off by the bus. So in September of 2006, Elizabeth got off the bus, and she was offered a ride from some friends, but she decided just to walk up the hill to her home on her own. Her aunt was supposed to come over and do her hair. Her aunt had come over, and Elizabeth was not there. They started calling friends and family and checking out where she might be. So this was in 2006. Not everyone had cell phones, and she did not have a cell phone. But it was very unlike her not to show up. So once they called around to all the friends and no one had seen her, they started to really panic, and the family did call law enforcement. So they started looking for Elizabeth and putting together grid searches and looking out for her. So in the meantime, Elizabeth was walking home, and a stranger came up to her. He was impersonating a police officer. His name was Vincent Philhaw, and he was wanted already by the authorities for essaying a child. So he was a straight scumbag already, but he was impersonating an officer. He was dressed in combat gear. He had a fake badge, and he told her that she needed to come with him, which she did. So he took her out in the woods, doubled back, went around to try to confuse her, and then ultimately they ended up by this underground bunker that he had created and built.
Crazy. Ugh. What the? I have no idea. Why did that do that? That's so weird. I don't know why that did that. Okay. Well, anyway, what I was saying, I was saying that that's just nuts that that guy did that to her, and the fact that he was wearing like camouflage or whatever, which wasn't really something that police officers wear, I wouldn't think, but he looked like he was dressed more like he was going hunting for children, I guess. But bad joke. But anyway.
Well, I think too, now we all know over and over and listening to these crime shows and podcasts that you never want to go to a second location. That's my number one thing that I'd always told my kids also. It's like wherever you are, it's inconvenient for them to do what they need to do to you or want to do to you. So they want to take you to a second location, and it's the point that you never want to go to a second location. So she was complying, and she was keeping, the violence down right now. But when they take you to that second location, they're going to isolate you, and it's going to be worse. So, and that is what happened. So he took her to this bunker. It was 8x8 underground. He had put in like a portable potty in there, and he had different things down there to isolate her. He chained her up, and I believe he put something around her neck and chained her up, and he assaulted her over and over. And during that time, she was concentrating on survival. She was concentrating on staying calm, even through the attacks, she had told herself, I'm going to be as calm as possible and to make this go as smoothly as possible so that I can get away from here. So at home, her family was looking for her. The word was getting out through town. This isn't a really well-known case, but it was really heartwarming to see how well the town came together and how much they all really did go out and look for her. It was a huge search, and they were marking off grids and maps, and people were checking back in. And the sheriff was taking this very personal. It was something that really bothered him. And there was one point where they had said he stopped into church to pray before he went in for one of the searches because it was just weighing on his heart so much. Things like this didn't happen in their town, and then all of a sudden it did. So they went from this very friendly, safe, rural environment to now this very scary situation. And they continued to come together, look for her, and pray that she would be okay. And back in the bunker, she decided to try to befriend him, try to get him to see her as a person, which is incredibly smart for some 14-year-old young lady who don't know her history in life, but what an amazing survivor and skill. So he did start to trust her and to, dare I say, care a little bit about her, but he started to let her loosen up her restraints a little at first. Then it got to where he had loosened the chain where she could go outside, maybe still have the chain on, but she could actually go outside and get some air. And she just kept talking about him. What do you like? What are you interested in? Your feelings and things like that. And she continued to gain his trust to the point where now they were going for walks in the woods, unchained. He was still assaulting her and he was still keeping her captive, but she was alive and she was constantly thinking about surviving. So back at her home, her mother got a text message, and it was something to the fact of help, it's me, Lizzie, and in underground and bombs. She didn't know what that meant. She didn't know if it was real, but they called the police, took it in, and the police thought at first she was runaway. This was a prank call. So one of the things that the sisters and the family said, no, this is her, because she put Lizzie, which was spelled L-I-Z-Y, which most people would put Elizabeth or L-I-Z-Z-Y, and most people knew her as Elizabeth. It was kind of just a family thing for her to say Lizzie. So that was a super huge ray of light for them that she is out there. They were convinced in their hearts she was out there. The police department weren't so convinced, but this was a huge lead for them. Over on Lizzie's part, she was earning Vincent's trust enough that he let her use his little track phone to play games on. And when he wasn't paying attention or had fallen asleep, she would be texting her mom to try and get help, try and let her know where she was. Unfortunately, they're underground. It's a rural area in the woods. The text messages were not going through. So she kept sending these messages, and then finally one went through. And that is the one that her mom got. So if you're sending all these messages like, help, it's me, this is happening, and you're constantly sending them and they're not going through, when finally one went through, it was part of other messages she was sending, but it was enough to give them hope. So, and she was smart enough to delete all the traces afterwards. So it was just normal for him. Here's your phone. Thanks for letting me play those games. And he did not know that she was texting. Then the police started to track the phone. They could triangulate the area of where the phone was. Does not necessarily have the technology that we have today, but it was still pretty good. And they were able to get that number, also track some of the other people related to that number. They got his name, and I thought it was an ex-girlfriend. It's an ex-girlfriend now. It was actually his girlfriend at the time. She came in and told them, yes, he has this bunker. That is his phone number. And something that's very scary for me is that the news caught wind of this text messaging and they put it on the news. Now, would this help to find her, or is this help speed forward her demise? That he now is watching TV and seeing, they know she's missing, they know that her mom got a text message from her, and he knows they're looking for them.
Yeah, considering he had like a some kind of setup where he could have electricity and TV down there, and they would watch TV together. And so when that came on the news, he saw it, and then he was like, looked at her, and was like, "What did you do?" And she's like acting like, "I don't know. I don't know how they got that information. I didn't send anything. I mean, you've seen me the whole time, So she played it off pretty well in order to save her butt. And so then when he was like, "Well, now what?" And she's like, I don't know if it was like a couple more days or whatever, when she's like, "You need to just go and I'll catch up with you later." Like she played it off.
Unfortunately for her, she was kept captive and assaulted for 10 days. So that was a long, terrifying ordeal for her. She remained calm. She remained interested in him. I know that I would not be able to have that composure. So I'm just very proud of her, and amazing that she really did prolong any imminent danger to herself by befriending him. And then when he did see the news, he confided in her. What should I do? Asked her actual advice. So she had earned that trust over those 10 days that he asked her what to do. And yes, she said, "You should run away and avoid being captured." And he did. So what a blessing for her. Now she's alone in the bunker. It's nighttime. She's too terrified to go out there. She stays in the bunker throughout the night. He flees. Thankfully, he did not take her with. And in the morning, she was able to exit the bunker and scream for help. And the people doing the searches heard her and ran over and found her. And she was able to describe him and tell them all about it. And they actually did capture him not shortly after that. So I know that it was quite a traumatic event for her and her family, and it changed the lives of everyone in that little town. But it is a story with a ray of hope that she survived. She fought smart throughout the entire event, and she saved herself and got him to get away from her so that she could survive. So he was convicted and sent to prison, thankfully. And she went on to, she does some public speaking events and things to talk to people about surviving these kind of events, and also how to prevent yourself from getting in those situations. And one of the main things is not getting taken to that second location.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That's just, I don't know. That's crazy.
Well, that is the story of Elizabeth Shaof, and I'm very proud of her. And I always like to do stories where there's some grit and hope at the end, and obviously survival. But for a 14-year-old girl, what an amazing spirit and a soul that she had, and just absolutely admire that she had that strength to do that. And unfortunately, small town, big city, there's these scumbags all over the place just looking for an opportunity. So
Yeah,
she was able to get out of that situation.
yeah, that is pretty amazing, because not all 14-year-olds think like that, and for her as a girl to survive that is very amazing. So many out there are not so lucky who have been in situations like that and not ever be found, or are found years later, and the damage it must do to their their mind and their mental health, and
Yes,
all the
absolutely.
PTSD. And uh, I mean, I'd be afraid to even step outside ever again. Jeez.
I know. And I think now people are teaching their kids these survival skills to not be taken to other locations, to run, to say something, to scream. I know I grew up in the 70s, 80s with you, and we were not taught those things necessarily. We were more it wasn't the 50s and 60s where kids were meant to be seen and not heard, but it was, you respect your adults, you comply, you don't talk back, you don't do these things. So if somebody was potentially trying to groom you or kidnap you, these are things that as a child you might not know, because we weren't taught those. It was always respect your elders. So if an elder, which would have been anyone, even a teenager at our age, came up and said to go somewhere with them, or I'm looking for my lost dog or something, it was always that, okay, all right, you didn't want to be combative to an adult. But I think that we were raised to be very compliant. So there were a lot of very dangerous situations out there that we've all were in. But as we became teenagers, I remember my dad got more vocal about, you know,
Mm.
no, who cares about authority or elders? You stick up for yourself. You tell them this. You walk away. I was walking home, 15, walking home from a friend's at like 11 o'clock on a Friday night. I'd walk very far. I was in high school. You think you know everything in high school. But this couple stopped to ask me if I wanted to ride. And I was like, absolutely not. And the girl's like, come on, it's so dangerous out here. You can't be out here by yourself. And I was like, it's dangerous. But if everybody minded their own business and kept going, I'd be fine and I would get home. I am not getting in the car with you because you know how dangerous that is. Like, why are you even asking me? I can't trust you any more than anybody else.
Right.
But that wasn't something that I would have thought a few years earlier. I would have just thought, oh, it's a lady. She's being so nice, and I really am kind of scared, so I might get in the car. But no, absolutely no.
Yeah.
And people know. I've seen people walking, and I wouldn't mind saying, do you want to have a ride? But you're going to scare them the minute you do it, so you can't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, especially nowadays, you can't trust anybody. I mean,
No.
heck, I went to the mailbox late last night. I was kind of like nervous to do that. I mean, it ain't like it's that far, but it was dark. I mean, it's midnight, and
Like a
I'm
block
like
away.
looking around, and I'm like, and I had my dog with me. Not that she could do much of anything. I mean, she'd probably just be like, you know, and I need a pit bull
Right?
to take, not just some little lap dog. And but yeah, I was a little nervous. And then of course she decides right in the middle of the sidewalk to stop, to take a dump. And I'm like, come on, man. And I'm like, keep looking around because I'm like, now I gotta pick up this dog crap. Luckily I had my little doggy bags. And but I was like, that's it. Like, that's just holding up more time that I have to stand out there in the dark and someone's probably lurking around somewhere
Right.
watching me. I mean, it's like that's how I feel all the time. And I'm like,
Did you pick it up?
an adult in my 50s, I'm afraid,
I know.
And
Did you
I
pick
would
it
be
up?
afraid if somebody stopped and, hey, you want to ride? What are you doing? I'd be like, get the F away from me. And then, take off running in my little slippers, and probably flying off and, like my little hobble run, because I can't run that fast because I'm like all disabled. Yeah. So, yeah, being
Did you
old.
pick up the dog poop?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
Heck yeah. And especially when they got cameras on their house too.
I know.
Which we just put some on ours yesterday. So now we got a really good view of everything. Yeah, that's how bad it's getting around here, because it's like every day, several times a day, I hear sirens, and it's just like
Aw.
getting nuts. When I first moved here in 2003, there was like only 6,900 people. That was the
Yeah.
population. Now it's like 120,000.
Wow, that's
It's
crazy
grown so
too.
much, and
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And now all these people come in from California and moving in, and it's like, and I don't want to blame California people, but overall, just the population increase is there's so much more crime. I mean, heck, someone actually shot and killed somebody the other day just for entering their home. Yeah. And this is like the second time someone has tried to shoot somebody, or they had pulled a gun out because someone was trying to uh, trespass on their property. They were told to leave. Anyways, when the cops showed up, they ended up shooting the homeowner, which totally made no sense. He was trying to protect his home. He's the one that called the damn 911.
Right.
And then they
Oh my
shot
God.
him. Yeah. So, like, yeah, a couple nights ago, I think it was like Saturday or Sunday night, where this woman was home with her two sons. They were older, and someone knocked on the door, so she opens the door. She has a screen door. I don't know if it was like the security type screen door, or if it was just a regular hinged screen door, because they're like, let me in, and she said, no, I'm not letting you in. I don't even know what you want. I don't know who you are, whatever. And so they broke the screen door off the hinges, and so one of her boys went into the other room, grabbed the gun, came out, bam, and shot him, and ended up killing him. And I don't think anything's happening to them. I mean, literally, they trespassed and broke into their home because she told them not to come in, and they broke the door off. So that's how things are around here anymore, and it's just scary. I'm like, I don't even want to live here anymore. I want to just move out, somewhere safe. But it's like, where is safe? And
there's
it's
wackos everywhere.
If you want to move out in the middle of nowhere, you don't know who's lurking out in the dirt, behind whatever. I don't know. I'm just like, it's just, I don't know what to do anymore. Scary.
My biggest fear here is my HOA.
It was mine too. I freaking hate the HOA. I fought them tooth and nail all the time.
I went to the park the other day because I had to take my dog to the bathroom. And the school where I usually walk around, school was become opening. So there was people everywhere. I'm like, let me just take him over to the park. So I go to the park, and I have a bag. So he poops. I get the poop. I put it in the garbage can, and we keep walking. He poops again. And I'm like, now I have to go get the bag, or I have to go all the way back to my car. Like, okay. So I just take the old bag I just threw in the garbage, took it out, went and picked up the other one, went back, put it in the garbage. And the whole time I'm thinking, okay, everybody, I'm going to the garbage to get the bag. I'm picking it up, because here everyone takes pictures or has on the ring phone and a ring thingy, and then they post it. Like, so-and-so didn't pick up their poop, or do you know this person because this or that? And so the whole time
people put you on blast in a second.
Yeah, right. So the whole time in my head I'm thinking, I'm doing it. I pick up all the time. So the next morning I wake up and I open Facebook, and the first thing I see is that garbage can that I threw the bag. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
I thought it was me. It's a picture of me digging in the trash can.
It was the garbage can I threw. Okay, so I'm like, what's this gonna be about? Me? Yeah. So it wasn't. They were saying it was the first day they had those new garbage cans in the park. And so I was cracking up laughing because
I've ever seen somebody pick up the garbage or the dog's poop and put it in the trash can.
Yeah, but it was so funny because I was like, what are they going to say about me? But I didn't realize it was the first day they got the garbage can.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like, well, I have one of those little plastic things that's got the trash, the little goodie bags in it. Yeah. And so it was a brand new one. So I'm sitting here trying to, and it's dark out and I can't see the perforated part on the bag. And so before I know it, I have like,
oh gosh,
like 3 bags worth pulled out. And then I'm like, where's the dang thing? And, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't, it's like dark outside. I can't freaking see the bag.
You're more
and then I'm
worried
like,
about
and-
more
Huh?
worried about a scary person than getting the bag.
Everything. I'm like, I gotta pick up the poop because I know I got a camera on their house and they're probably watching to see, you know, like what is
Yeah.
she doing out there? Why is that
Why is
person
she taking so long with the bags?
Well, like they probably wouldn't even known what I was doing. I mean, like, what's she doing? She just stops right there in the middle of the sidewalk, and you know, like, why does she keep looking at our house? Is she like, you know, I mean, like, who knows what people are thinking anymore? You know,
Mhm.
like, and it's like, man, I'll tell you one thing. What then this is why it's scary anywhere, even delivering like DoorDash. And luckily my husband was with me. One time we went to deliver and it was actually I walked up to the house and I'm like, oh, this isn't the right address. So I started walking away. Well, apparently he must have got a notification, saw that somebody was at his door. And so as I'm walking back to the car, he opens his door and he's like, what do you want? What are you doing? And I go, I was delivering food, but I realized this is the wrong house. It's the other house. And he's like, had a gun in his hand. Yeah.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
like, oh my God, he would have shot me, you
You'd be
know?
like,
But
dude,
that,
I'm
that's still,
selling Girl Scout cookies. Calm down.
yeah. I mean, like, but you know what? There's been people that have gotten shot trying to deliver food to people. You know what I mean? It's like that's why I don't like going out when it's dark out. One, it's like people don't freaking have the courtesy to turn on their dang porch lights, you know, so you can see the addresses on the house and whatever. And I think that all homes should have the address on the sidewalk, you know, like on the edge. Like when we were younger, it's like every house has the address on the sidewalk so you can see it, because all these bushes and stuff that people have, they cover up the address that's on
Right.
the house, like next to the garage or whatever, and you can't see it. Or they have these big trucks or whatever that's blocking the view, you know, and it's hard to see these addresses sometimes. But yeah, I'm not doing that no more. I'm done.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy, I tell you.
It's so crazy. And here there's ice everywhere. I can't imagine trying to deliver in this weather.
I'd be slipping, sliding. I'd be on the funniest videos sliding on my butt
Down the driveway.
Oh my God. I watch some of those videos and I just start cracking up because I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I feel their pain. I'm like going, oh my God, you know? And I'm like, oh, I have a bad back as it is. And I feel it. I feel it. Oh man.
That's crazy. All right. Well, that is our story on Elizabeth Shaof, and good job, young lady. We're very proud of you and so happy you can go on to inspire others to stay safe and to overcome.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us, and we will be back soon.
Yeah.
Peace and love.